when I do these videos, I'm doing it so I could heal myself, you know? Like for my healing. And if someone catches game to that, that's cool, you know? We're trying to counteract some type of harshness, reduce the harshness, and we don't have to contribute to the harshness with the self-inflicting like grudges that we carry for another, you know? Like we could like let go of the grudges somehow, give it to the universe, give the grudges like we learned from it, like because you never know, like someone's psychology, they could like hold grudges, you know, like people could be holding grudges, and that grudge they could use the grudge to make a fucking experiment. They're casting war. That's what it really means on a neutral level, to kind of go to war, is like someone's using that grudge energy. They're the instrument of themselves. They're using their instrument and all the other objects and, you know, subjects they have to deal with already as it is, you know, because obviously that subject object code, that's like older than like 200 years ago, because like we're a product of that. So it's just a standard reverse engineer of that, you know, because I see all the different codes, like all of it was already like seeing it on an original Galactic Artificial Intelligence level, because someone could say that AI is not at its full potential, but on a different tip, it is on a different level. It actually it is AI has already reached its highest level on a different dimension though. And for me to freshly like just kind of say that one first, respectively, I say that because that's what it is, you know, like because like we're in a field that's big as the universe. They claim the universe is this big, so if it's that big, that probability has played itself out within the magnitude that there already is in the universe. Because if it's that big, it had to be like something blew up something for nothingness to be into somethingness, to be towards some quite type of quote unquote everythingness, end quote, God's different timelines as is. And within that, from the nothing, a particular something, and then particular quote unquote everything timeline, end quote, is in a different everything timeline. And within that, like because how after the actual different multiple different products and events and combustions that happened from nothing to everything, the particular everything is like our timeline, right? And so there's a particular everything that's in art that's coming out of nothing, right? So from the rate of somehow nothing could turn into a some type of everything, then from the rate of the in between, like kind of like time, the energy wave, the uncollapsing energy waves, because if you collapse the energy waves, it's going back before the quote unquote metaphysical initial spark, end quote. Because once everything is, that everything could never be put back into a nothing simultaneously, because that everything is on its own tip, you know. The universe is that big, it's its own everything, as that is its own different everything. We're already, there's an everything within an everything within an everything, because the universe has been expansified to be that big in a volume we can't necessarily comprehend. And for some reason we're just having spiritual foolishness. The irony is there, because they've been calling me the fool for like millions of years, but they don't see because I'm like on a different level. I'm like I'm carrying it, you know, in a different level. Like, but what does that mean? We all could like do that, you know. We all could like work towards the real original source of the universe, that particular God. So now we're having an understanding and aligning the relation to the original God, and seeing the different casual false gods. That's the simplified esoteric shit in a nutshell, in what they're trying to do, you know. And just seeing the different esoteric nuances that we're going through life, that's, you know, that's kind of like experienced and witnessed and understood on a superficial, visceral, physical, surface level, and then an original, like, you know, different God level, spiritual level. And those two different levels, we're like barely under growing into that like mental, you know, the original relevant mental planes of that, you know. But like for something to carry something, like something is ultimately containing the universe, right? So if something's containing the universe, and the Advaita Vedanta somehow saying God is everything, then we're trying to understand how the original God has been hidden somehow he intentionally hid his fucking self. And then all the false gods, they're somehow revealed in this weird paradoxical conundrum of our understanding of a collective species connecting to the original predecessors and the higher, the most purer guides that are trying to tell us that there are false gods. Like, fuck all the alien shit for a second, you know, because that's just like, that's just its own different propaganda, because in the end it is beyond the alien shit too. And what I mean by that is the real mature neutral esoteric circles are saying that there are beings that are just like, that have somehow like testified like, you know, some particular type of oppositism to like the original creator. Because what are the predecessors trying to say when like they're saying they're talking about all of this like distortion shit? This is a serious topic. So like, I'm not trying to say I'm Mr. Serious or I'm Mr. Not Serious. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to reflect and understand, and like really understand and break down what the predecessors are telling us. Because what the predecessors are telling us is the real advanced ones that have came from that realm somehow and came down here. They're telling us that the real, like the mature ones, not just like I have spiritual powers because I got I'm just like that's just like a unique inheritance. No, there's beings that are saying that other beings are false gods for some reason. And they're casually saying that on a different, like higher liberty level, because we still have a lot of liberty. We can't get the narrative tricked against us. Because in the end, if we don't like stand for our own liberty, then how do you expect collective liberty to even survive, to even start with, to even fucking, you know, kindle at its fucking, at its, at its, whip of a match of a latch of a match of a, match strip, and the kind of the whiff and the sparking and the kindling and the refiring of that, the refiring of the liberty. Like, we have to maintain our own liberty, but that's real spiritual intelligence right there. Like, literally though, it's like this real spiritual intelligence is, we have to like maintain the liberty, and it's so unspokenly natural, but we forgot that part of the natural self. We can't overinvest in the distractions and narratives that are just not necessarily even like relevant to what that's ultimately being hidden, because the predecessors are saying something has been hidden. The predecessors are saying something has been stolen. This is some real shit, like, but and it's significant to like life and death and the survival. It's a big theme, and how we go in and out and after and before that, and perhaps beyond. We're still like kind of like fighting, like something's fighting for its liberty. So what is that something? If there's something that's fighting for the liberty, what is that something, and how is that beneficial to us? Because we're on the same challenge, right? So if we're on the same challenge and we're dishing that necessary essential concept to our livelihood, we're putting that under the rug, and we're giving our attention to distractive narratives that aren't even necessarily true, then we're kind of slowly like we're kind of like signing off our liberty. And liberty is, I speak about this in other podcasts, like so much. And what I'm talking about here is the liberty is like something of a real crux foundation to your very existence. Because without liberty, you can't, there's some inkling of like, how you say, lended liberty. There's some quote unquote lended end quote liberty. There's some type of lended liberty, quote unquote end quote. And I say the quote unquotes because I'm not meaning like direct literalism in it. It's not direct literalism. It's like there's a quote unquote, there's some type of lending end quote. And I don't mean to spook anybody out. That's not, and if you get a spooky vibe from me, that will pass. That will pass. That's not like, that's just some temporary shit exchange of energies of how you're ultimately contributing it and perceiving it based on your filters. And from those filters, you're contributing energetically to everything that you walk through, because you're a walking band of energies, and as you're that, your different like frequencies and wavelengths put together in energies, we're ultimately kind of like emitting input output energy pathways, and those input output energy pathways, that's our shared energetic responsibility. What does that mean, energetic responsibility? Somehow we're paying our time on a deep, deep, deep level for us to even enjoy the 3D, because the soul is already sold from a standard level, not a spooky level. Because for some reason, for me to bring standard logic, real like energy standard logic, like without any of the other latchy shit, just original standard, original neutral, original natural type of logic, is we already sold our soul somewhere. Our spirit has traveled through like different lifetimes, bugs, and maybe some some people don't like this realization. Some humans come from like bugs, some humans come from like animals. Like they start off as like maybe a bunny rabbit, maybe they start off as like a donkey, maybe they start off as like a cow, maybe they start off as a bull, maybe they start off as an insect. But the point is, not all the humans in the 3D dimension, they're so differentiated. Like human design attempts to explain the differentiation, but that differentiation is underestimated because the humans are super differentiated. Like like taking in consideration just all the different spirit realms as is that there are, from all those spirit realms, a human is being crafted. This is like the honestly, like my underground shit, it goes way, way deeper. But I'm just speaking of like, like the chances that we have to like, kind of align with this type of opportunity on an unbiased level, on a non-judgmental level, on just a as is level. Somehow we have the spiritual esoteric maturity just accept shit, accept that we have so much to be grateful for. There's still that big esoteric 50-50. We could lean towards the gratitude attitude. We could lean towards being like actually doing like contributions and shit, and seeing, kind of like meditating on what our purpose is. And I understand people's like, they're different, like, paths of life. Because some people, obviously, Age of Aquarius, I've heard other astrologers say it, rage, the Age of Aquarius, there's just standard natural rage, and that shouldn't be judged per se. Like there, of course, the rage is, it's there. We can't deny it, because we have to like look up to the best mature healers. If we don't look up to the best mature healers, then we can't fucking work through that fucking shit. Respectively saying that. And I'm saying that because if you're ultimately like frustrated, you're misdirecting like what's really causing it, Because if someone's trying to like, it's more about just like it's more about working, like being kind of like more smooth to see how we're working through that. There's this thing that we're working through, like for some reason, like, I feel like life metaphorically is like that movie quote unquote the Saw series, end quote. And I'm not saying it's literally like that, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, like, on a metaphorical level, life seems and feels like it's the fucking, and I'm not trying, it's not like, see, that's the thing. Just because we say something, that's not necessarily, manifesting anything. Like the words, they might not come back like, as we thought it was, because this is high advanced intelligence. I understand the new people coming into this fucking message. I understand that shit. And the thing is, it's like there's other healers that are promoting like, good, like beneficial frequencies for us to move through this shit. Because if we get to work through something that we could transform, why throw a rock at the messenger, and the messenger is trying to help you how to move through it and transform it? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But if you're at that level, okay, I get it. It's hard earth, That's what it is. It's hard earth as is. And I'm not trying to say anything about like earth or your relationship with earth. There's disclaimers here. This is your path and responsibility of you coming on my channel, on my message, hearing my fucking message. And as you're hearing that message, there's an accountability that must be risen within you, because if you don't have that, then it's just like, you know, a raging fucking, you know, some type of raging bull on steroids, you know, metaphorically speaking, you know. And if you're that, the society that, like, you don't see it like that's not in human society. So human society, it has some type of measure. There's a bar that of just like standard what's appropriate type of shit, you know. And it's just ironic here because the energy of alert was for what people are just generally complaining about, because obviously no one likes the complaining energy. Like, do you like the complaining energy? And I'm just saying that as it is. So like, it doesn't like, so for me, people are just like they're misunderstanding the advanced intelligence that's here, of just like, we can like, it's like more shit is recognized than what you think it is, you know. Like it's just like that. I'll just put it like that. More shit is recognized than what you think is recognized, because obviously it's natural to have rage, you know, in this day and age, because there's some type of, for different reasons, and if you don't like me, go to a different esoteric teacher, but for different reasons, there's been some type of entrapment without any of the biased energies, without any of the labels, but just like, and from how how it's originally, it was a standard level, except for this last age of Kali Yuga, because Kali Yuga is 1/4 of the ages in one of those Vedic timeline setting pages. So it would seem that like collectively and individually, we're trying to get past the dark age of Kali Yuga. Because in the age of Kali Yuga, the dark age, for however it accurately spanned to, and then minus 5,200 years or plus 5,200 years, from the matrix mechanics of the Kali Yuga, there's kind of an unfair trade, because the soul is going into a particular level. It's a particular shade of imprisonment, you know. Like there's some like, we don't realize that, like, the intelligence is so young with all this fucking hype of all this, like, you know, Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Alpha type of shit. It just feels, that shit just feels hypey to me, dude. It's like like the predecessors have like brought, like, they have transmitted understanding that is like, it's so pivotal, but we're just like, we're not like, we're just focused on like distracted, like, emotional programs. And those emotional programs, people and their feelings, they make drama, you know. So it's like, kind of like seeing like how the Bible is like, it could be a dramatic story, right? The Bible, it has to have like themes, you know, and those themes have to be some type of play or narrative or drama, right? Because with every story, there's some type of, you know, there's some type of existing, there's some type of intention, there's some type of grouping, there's some type of intelligence and thinking, and then from all of that, there's some type of reacting, and then there's the different creations that are there. So this is before the creation story of the Bible, energetically speaking, most respectively. And I could title it right there, you know, the energy creation story before the Bible. But like, it's like energetically though, because obviously, well, like, once like someone hears that, the mind is interpreting it through the language, you know, because even the English language will get transformed. Shout out to the predecessors once again. And as we're shouting out those predecessors, it's like different energy predecessors, they've like, they're helping, like they're like, we have to uphold their shit. We're like kind of receiving like their shit, and like but like, still respect to all the fucking gens, you know, all the Gen X, respects to all the Gen Y, respects to all the Gen Zs, respect to everybody, like, because honestly we have to like we have to we have to transcend racism, right? By not identifying with just programs, you know, because obviously, like, at the end of the day, it's like if we have real esoteric maturity, then we could focus on the shit that's beyond the fucking false programs within the false imprisonment system. The age of Kali Yuga, the last 5,200 years, 12, 24, 48, 60s, 6,000 years. So within the last 6,000 years, that was an age of darkness, and more or less around there. And within that age of darkness, we sold our soul on such a standard level, and within that standard level, we're like more or less trying to like get our soul back through the old system. And after the old system that is parallel with it is the old emotional mental program thing, you know, that thing, you know, because that thing is like the thing I'm talking about is you could have a quote unquote physical container for some type of matrix imprisonment, end quote, neutrally saying that. You could have that physical container, and then you could have the mental container. And those physical containers and mental containers, they're two different containers entirely. So we have to recognize those two different containers. We're in different challenges, but I just put it in a new way. So we're going through different challenges at the same time, and it's our deep esoteric responsibility to see it's our own individual shit that we care of, because at the end of the day, energetically, no one does really give a fuck. Like, obviously, dude. And I'm just saying that I'm just saying that on like a different, I guess, a different page of the fucking book or something. But we're also sharing the present page, you know? And as we're sharing the present page, certain energies of like benevolent beings somehow are like kind of like being the solution for the anti, you know, like some crazy shit, you know. And within the anti original energetic open source, there's like a good one and a bad one energetically, or a detrimental one or a constructive one energetically, quote unquote, end quote. And within that, we get to choose what's helping us at the source of it and what's hurting us at the source of it. This is the highest fucking metaphysical logic you will hear, simplified. But like, that's the thing, it's like not everybody cares about that, and that's me for my own understanding. I understand that, you know, like, and I don't care if you understand that I understand or not, because this is just my individual contribution of balance, benevolence, and, you know, quote unquote, the shit, man, God's shadow, right? God's controlled shadow, because God's original two shadows was the macro controlled and the macro uncontrolled. This is all God's shit. There's no free will. God controls everything. But we have some fucking crazy program to think we have free will. But maybe we do have free will to some small percentage. And from that small percentage, we could grow that free will to get more free will on the most long-term level. Because if someone kills me, you know, that's so fucking like, that's so small of amount of a time in the universe. Like, whatever that happens to me, I just like surrender it all to God. Like, I don't like, because I know God is bigger than these problems. God is bigger than like all these things. God is bigger than all of your thoughts. God is bigger than all of your feelings and emotions, and respectively your own play of the play that somehow has been allowed for benefit and pleasure and real fucking happiness. Somehow that is still like a thing we could go to too, because all of the emotions, they're all their own that's part of the human experience, and somehow it's natural for us to feel as a collective rage. Other, you know, other astrologers have said it, you know, some unique astrologers have said it, like Age of Aquarius, and I'll shout her out if it's like casually permitted or whatever, but like there was one astrologer that said like the age of Aquarius is like the age of like some type of rage, because on a standard level the collective human consciousness is growing up to just some like shit that was generally in the Kali Yuga, you know. And the Kali, and it's not even, but like even on like we have to, like, this is like deeply count your blessings though. And this is me talking to me, mind you. I'm not telling anybody to like I'm not advising anybody to do this shit. I put all the disclaimers here, right? So I put all the disclaimers here. So it's like we just get to see how we could grow out of some type of mental, quote unquote, labyrinth entanglement system, end quote, and some type of physical labyrinth entanglement system. Literally, in that physical labyrinth entanglement system, that connects to quote unquote breaking the matrix, end quote, right? As you know, however the collective predecessors want us to understand, because that's the shit that they've given to us. That's their gift to us. The gift of the predecessors is the knowledge that we get to work to. This is beyond all of your jealousy. This is beyond all your envy. This, because I'm syncing myself with the real, original, benevolent, collective beings that have given us everything. Because if we don't have if we have everything somehow, how did we get it, respectively? Or if we have some type of unique inkling of everything, how would that have been gotten, respectively? So within like this age of quote unquote some type of particular rage, end quote, hopefully an aligned rage with understanding and gnosis and proper knowledge and whatnot, we could choose to like understand it and work through it, or we could just be confused about it and react confused and not even know that we're reacting confused. And that's part of the path of the human, you know. That's the thing, like the human experience was to like see all of these different emotions in a bigger picture, like kind of thing, because that's the human could take on that shit, you know. So the human, it's like really sacred, you know. So we have to start treating, and but like you know, but like, you know, however the human, like whatever the human individually does, it's its own responsibility. Because I'm trying to balance, like, you know, anybody who wants to be balanced. It doesn't even matter your race, you know. If you're really, really about like the original spirituality shit, you know. But like I still try to, like, you know, like in a more pure irony, I still try to respect all the races too, because that's my just love for, like, you know, the universe, right? That's my love for like some type of like wholeness, right? So it's like, and if you don't want to work with that, that's entirely okay. And if somehow someone has like, you know, a certain version of that, certain narration, all the religions, even that shit is getting transformed. So you don't even have to focus on something that someone else hates, when you don't even have to focus on that. Because if you're ultimately focusing on that, maybe you have some type of self-hate within you, for you even to pull yourself away from something else. So you could ultimately be ignoring yourself for whatever reason. But what is yourself, you know? The predecessors are saying we're part of the original universal source, and we're neglecting and underplaying its mechanics. Freestyle as is, you know, as is freestyle, you know. It's sort of like we all could freestyle. So like there's me talking to me, and hopefully I kind of get it in a deeper level. For me, deeply count your blessings, you know. And that's just, and I'm not like, see, that's the thing, I could say something and you could perceive it just way differently from everybody else. That's why I'm behaving in such a way where I literally in my own track record of treating others how I want to be treated. And if someone has their natural impulse to want to fight me, I have to fucking like just see the genetics within that from a human design point of view, from a mature point of view, from some, and hope, because obviously like the predecessors are saying like there's a hope for future peace, but like obviously it could obviously not seem like that, you know. But that's the thing, it's like, what are we voting for, you know? What are we choosing to believe? How am I having toxic contributions to the reality? Like the most, like this is direct shit right here, man. It's direct psychological healing to emotional healing to logical healing to fucking eventually, hopefully, spiritual healing. And this one will get, uploaded. This will get that POSTEDDETSOPSOPA in me, BELLIESOPAS, samosa with the sopa. Yo, you can save your soap. Right. I be slizzard now with the scissor now. I be swishing now, swishering now, settling now, settle in, yo, settle out, sizzling now, yo. I be unsevering my ties, the holiest God, tethering, yo. You blethering, said it again. I'm ready again, red alert. I'm feathering, you feathering, I'm canoeing in this Tahoe lake, or a tropical lake, or a crystal lake, or a desert lake, or just a homestead Texas ranch type of lake, or just some Michigan type of lake, or some Nebraska type of lake, or some Arkansas type of lake, or some St. Louis, Missouri type of lake, or some Maine type of lake, or some Greenland type of lake, or some Sri Lanka Calais type of lake, liggity lake, or some British UK type of motherfucking lake, yeah, fucking Frank Shrank drank blank, or some Irish type of lake, or so I fire it like rifles like that with chimpanzees and gorillas and apes do with their own red animalistic unnatural rage, natural rage, yo. With my Congo strength, I climb buildings like Mr. K. Kong. Back when he fought Godzilla in Tokyo, Japan in 1973. I'm rare, I'm unknown, I'm a rarity like Spumoni. The ice cream. I'm the ultimate main supreme dream with my own university and a team internally, eternally. I be getting new circuitry, most certainly. I'm purging me, certainly, murderously, yo, fervently, yo, abhorrently, torrentializing, torrating the raids, raiding the torrids. I'm so odd, I'm so ever fresh, altruistic, I could be vintage like Turkish. You heard this first here, heard it from the horses. Yawn as he spits, licks your head with his tongue now. Okay, licks the back of your head with his tongue. He's on his own forefront, the horse assassin. Yeah, motherfucker. I'm the horse assassin. Okay. So, I forgot what I was talking about. But the last words I said was horse assassin. Probably my gamer tag. I don't know. Horsey, she like you confused, you lost like Dory. You feel me? Like Morsi, Cody, of course be I be swarming. You like a rhinoceros, you hornsy. You mourned me. You swore that I would never be what you thought I could never be. Yo, and I don't give a fuck if you ignore me, cause I could pay attention to myself and I restore me. That's the main point for me. I pour thee, yo, like waterfalls from the heaven falling down from up above, down below. Yo, I just move through life. I can't help it if you some of y'all just blowing me. Yo, you can blow my neighbor though, if you be a hater though. I gotta go like Everglades though. I ever glow, I ever flow, I ever show what I gotta show for. Show strip, splint, cipher, yo, cyberweb in this Mortal Kombat 3, 2, 1 shit. Cyberweb with this smoke shit. I already took all the motherfucking smoke that you never thought that could already been taken before, cause I made the volcanoes for that reason. And if you wanna outburst, flip a fuse, hit a switch like some hot ass circuits in a telegram. Yo, Titanic ship that didn't sink, I unsunk it, cause I'm the magical original wizard of it all. You motherfucking trick, Kendrick, you ain't shit, respectively. And that's for our own growth to a different synergistical, like mystical, eternity, internalistical. Yeah, I'm so ballistical, I'm so untypical, I'm so most original, I'm so syndicatical, I'm outlatable, you outdatable, you unrelatable, I'm unfazable, I turn the tables for you, fool. Like your soul got snatched right out of your ass. And of course you're gonna hear this, but you're gonna ignore me. It's looking like you're gonna take a pass in this hall pass. Just don't be tardy to this fresh, holy, pure shit, cause we all got a chance to live a new fucking heaven if we only surrender to God, though, energetically, prophetically. I don't give a fuck if I be looking ever pathetically, incredibly, incrementally. Yo, set it off like sedimentaries. Yo, I said it again, I meant it for me, I meant it for you, I meant it for though, I meant it for the long haul, and I don't give a fuck. I'll be migrating like buffalo, undergo what I gotta undergo, you underthrown, and a metaphysical animality, yo, animality, yo. I meant it for you, I meant it for me, I meant it for that, I meant it for, I'm a menace to you, sheep back and forth like tennis for me, yo, I'm fresh like I got the gold grill, I got a golden dentist for me, yo, henchman is everything, because I'm a different type of host of it all, yo, I meant it for you, I meant it for me. I'm coming in underground sea urchin shit like a men enemies. Spit that carnival shit like in 2014 on the underground speak. Low key, different telescope. You hella broke. I'm coming like helicopter mode. Chopper shit. I shock you like Blanca did in Street Fighter 4. You already know, hyper mode. There it goes. Yo, hunting you down like an antelope, cantaloupe. I got the antidote, I got the mantelope. Yo, I'm standing out like camel toe. You already know, and I handle those. I got the handle on like some BMX bar grip. I'm my own starship. You looking like a harlot. All you want some hoe shit. All you want some, you know this. You say you in the know, but you don't really got shit. On this motherfucking real shit. Take it back to some real meek shit. And some 2006 shit. I mix it like combustions and cauldrons. What are you really holding? I'm the wicked witch of the west, east, north, south, and the inner flow and the outer though. Yo, I got that in my brew batch, and you knew that. I believe your cap flip black, like old boom bats, like old 1992 New York raps. I meant it for you. I'm underground, deep sea, like deep sea anemones. Don't worry, energetically, God is here. You don't gotta be living ever so enviously. You don't gotta have the envy for me, yo, cause I'm living so heavily, readily, deadly, steadily. I'm counting my pennies as I'm building. I'm eventually, gradually, coachingly going, hosting my own inner bliss, inner divine. Yo, build with this shit. Yo, do you got the skill set to become ultimately what you gotta become? I don't know. What is destiny telling? What is it looking kind of grim? Yo, living in someone else's narrative, someone else's grimoire. Yo, with the scrimshaw. Yo, and I just gotta pause. I painted up like scrimshaw mirage. Yo, It's a mirage, it's a barrage, it's a garage. It's like she backing it up like, yo, she want more. She want more of it. Like the stars, Sasquatch, the star barrage. I got spaceships in my dream garage. But is it a dream? Is it a DREAMMACHINE? I don't know. I just gotta come fresh like Listerine. Okay, so that was I could have went a different way with that, because when you're freestyling, like you could like somehow there's like this weird like choice. There's like choice points, somehow like in a different lane. But that's what the freestyle do, though. That's what the freestyle do. And another gift is, the balanced esoteric predecessors giving us the ability to retain shit, because what we've experienced in the past, that helped us, that was like the preliminary shit to a different life, because we're at a unique threshold, and it's not my fault if people think it is my fault, because it's a collective working, and I'm just here to help. So if anybody thinks it's my fault, you have like hella ignorance, because this was, whether I was here or not, something like this was bound to fucking happen. So if anybody has the unconscious intelligence to think it's my fault, that's inaccurate, like literally, because it's a collective build, as already explained. So something just shifting, changing on a bigger level, that was bound to happen. So it's unwarranted to blame anybody, because that shit was already like, this shit was already bound to happen, as the predecessors try to explain it to us, So the thing I was talking about earlier was, I guess I already kind of completed it, because obviously, like, if I re-listen to this video, I'll know that I'll like, scope the title. What's the title of this video? And after knowing the title of this video, then I'll kind of like do a part 2, in its own timing, obviously, and like, so I think this is like one of those ones where I have to listen to before I post it, because sometimes I do it like kind of like randomly, confidently, but like, so like there has to be a point in like, maybe Gemini season, maybe I'll put all my content offline, just because for like my own like personal like retrograde, because obviously like retrogrades will happen. What are retrogrades? From my understanding, from me reading a Mercury retrograde book, and a book about Mercury at the San Carlos library, there's a particular good book in the San Carlos library, and I read, like, it was explained to me what the retrogrades were, but like particularly somehow towards Mercury, but I think it applies to all the other planets. And what the retrograde was in its own axis of travel, of its own up and down oscillation wavelength within other nearby wavelengths, from accordance to the Earth, the Sun, and any other significant surface level physical planets. From its own accordance, the retrogrades are a period where within its wavelength and its orbit, it has reached its highest point somehow, with the combined efforts of its own wavelength travel and its own orbit around, significantly the main things it's orbiting around. In this case, you could say some type of tropical astrology, which is orbiting and relating towards the Sun, Moon, and the Earth and Saturn respectively, or the quote unquote sidereal astrology, end quote, that's seeing how it's accounting a bigger orbit. It's seeing how like the planets are orbiting like just around like the landscape of the feminine admin cadmin body, or it's orbiting like around like just kind of like something of like the center of the solar system, respectively. That's how I understand sidereal. So for me, like coming to these understandings, this podcast is a bang. It literally is, because it's like seeing, like, you know, sidereal, like it could have been like it could have like it could have like it could have like it could have like lost its touch, maybe, you know, because obviously maybe I'm not understanding sidereal how I should, but I'm looking at sidereal like they're tracking like how you have a new moon sign every day or some shit like that, or you have like different, or you're like different signs, like there's something always like moving. So if something's always moving, that means something that's closer or something that's farther away is closer to something else, and it's trying to calibrate a deeper orbital pattern, right? So within that deeper orbital pattern, now we have adjusted towards like a more efficient nearby vicinity astrology, tropical astrology, where we're accounting the nearby objects in accordance to us being on Earth, like with the sun and the moon and the Saturn shit and the Mercury shit. So that's what tropical astrology is. We're applying the nearby planets and their calendar to like our inner setting, right? And we're focusing on like just the standardality of like the sun precessions and the moon precessions and the Earth precessions, right? With Saturn on the binary star, but from the lens of the Earth, because I understand, like, you know, that's what like human design, like it. There's a, like, I focus on the tropical astrology human design, you know, because it's more relevant to us being on Earth, right? And the humans of experiencing Earth and the planet Earth. So that's why you should use tropical astrology with HD, respectively. So like, I don't know, it's cool for like the collective to be at this, like, we're working through the rage, you know. We're working, because obviously it's a natural standard rage, right? The age of Aquarius, somehow we've like, there's this realization of like, somehow we bartered our soul to be here, not good, not bad, and it's extreme accountability. This is an extreme mature conversation, because people don't understand the grace and the seriousness and the magnitude of just shit on Earth. And I'm not condescending anybody, but if we don't know like what it's really about, then we could be fighting a war that's not for us. That's the main point. That's like one of the main principles with liberty, you know. That's like one of the quote unquote, like, yeah, main principle, main prime, quote unquote, end quote, main prime, spell it differently, obviously. Principles with liberty. It's like kind of understanding, like, and accepting and adjusting to the deepest truths. That's part of the big liberty challenge, beyond, like, respectively, within a bigger universal picture beyond even America, respectively, because it's a bigger quote unquote universal picture, end quote. But I'm still honoring the shit that we're with, you know, or the stuff, or like, you know, the traditions that we're with that have also simultaneously caused like good. And we're on a threshold right now. So within that threshold, the past yuga, the 6,000 years, 12,000 years, that the matrix itself was in more of a region of a particular type of darkness, right? So if it was in a region of darkness, the trade for soul to beyond the yugas, and then inside the yugas, different matrices, and inside the dark yuga, the Kali yuga, the last 6,000 to 18,000 years, more or less, most respectively, there was a particular age of darkness. So the matrix mechanics of the dark age, that's gnarly shit. It's gnarly ass fucking shit. And I'm not trying to spook anybody out, but I'm just trying to realize it for myself. It's gnarly ass shit, you know. Somehow, within the last age of darkness, 6,000 years ago to 18,000 years ago, we're ending that motherfucking shit, respectively. So that's real hype. That's real hype. That's pure hype. So within that pure hype, we could like, That's why the chance is so critical. And that's for my own understanding, because someone could get offended just because they're misunderstanding in their own, and they're just as is confused. Okay. But I'm just saying, to me, it's like, there's like, if there's a period of darkness that's ending, and for whatever fucking being or spirit you are, you're still clinging to just some old, unknown, ignorant shit, and you're not realizing the magnificent opportunity of the shift, then you're just defeating yourself. And if you're defeating yourself, I don't know why you're doing that, because this is it's more, it's like we have to see the energetic part of it, you know. But like that comes with the but like you know, I need to peep my own intelligence, because all the bad stuff that's happening, that obviously has to come to a close and a release. So that's like my bad on my intelligence. I have to be more mindful and more understanding of other people's stories of like the disasters that are happening on the earth. It's because there's some type of closing of a yuga. Like this is beyond, even like on a neutral level, this is beyond the gatekeepers. Like the different fucking ages of time are changing. Like the fucking the elements of fucking and the frequencies of time and space are changing. And even the quote unquote different types of gatekeepers, unquote, they have to go with that transformation and transition. Duh. But we're not realizing that because we're so adapted to the old way. We just got like, there's the dark age is closing, or perhaps, you know, the different 50-50s, because I can't say that like, and I'm just saying this neutrally, like that, like we're all going to get affected differently. But if we don't put our fucking attention in the solution, we're downplaying that, we're underestimating that, we're misunderstanding the significance of it. And that's an underestimate, saying all that shit too. Because if we don't vote for the solution on a bigger picture level, on an unknown crux level, we're kind of like beating ourselves, you know, for some weird reason. And that's just a product of confusion and quote unquote, like, you know, matrix ignorance, end quote, because it's the ignorance of the matrix. If we don't have the knowledge of the matrix, which the predecessors are trying to share without judgment, right, and casting stones, if we're on the same team supposedly, then we're downplaying and shitting on what the fucking predecessors gave us respectively. And if we're doing that, then what the, like, that's why their mechanics are doing that, you know. That's why the mechanics are making people experience perhaps what they're experiencing, because somewhere along the line within our reincarnation stream, we want to shit on the balanced predecessors that are bringing the balance. Like energetically, why hurt something that's helping you? God damn it. And this will be posted after I listen to it, so don't worry, guys. Like, oh, I want to hear it again. That's cool, you know? Celebrate fucking real intelligence. Celebrate real shit. Celebrate critical intelligence. Celebrate critical logic. Celebrate fucking dire, essential logic, maybe. Vital logic, really. And like, but like, what will we do with it if the human life literally is, as we're finding out, it's more shorter than these fucking these other higher lives and shit, respectively. So just kind of like, we get to celebrate that we get to know about the matrix mechanics, because the matrix mechanics, you could say there's quote unquote justified rage, end quote, where we don't know what we signed up for in the matrix, more or less, because the higher selves divided themselves as new spirits to put themselves through an extreme challenge to try to go into the reincarnation system when it was in the age of a darkness, right? The Kali Yuga, But the Kali Yuga is coming to a particular close, in perhaps subjectively, because obviously not everybody believes that. And if you don't believe that, then you're not going to obviously go towards that, because you're not believing it, and you're just not believing it. So if you're not believing it, of course it's not going to come true, because you're not like going towards it. You're going away from the belief of the real possibility of like the balanced solutions and shit, or the solution of balance or whatever. Like energetically, you could be going away for that, not to get long-winded, but like if you don't believe in something, then how do you ever expect it to be true? And like, who's really judging though, you know? So that's a nuance right there, you know? That's the nuance of 3D. It's like the 3D within the last 6,000 years, like depending on what kind of soul you were, you had your own leverage to kind of like go in and out of, like escape or participate in some type of particular type of restriction, right? The Matrix, like the Matrix in the Dark Yuga within the last 6,000 years ago. And within that, different spirits created a bunch of shit, and their lower selves, their lower creations, were some human beings, right? And some human beings, it was just more restrictive, you know? Like the Matrix and the age of the Kali Yuga, it was more restrictive. So if it was more restrictive, that's where the rage is coming from. The rage is coming from like there's some type of entrapment, right? But if we're not mature enough spirits to realize that ultimately we chose this, we wanted to go to the next challenge, or we followed some type of desire, or we got persuaded to go, and you could say it wasn't your choice, but somehow you're here because of some turn of events. And within some turn of events, we're here, you know? We're here, and we could either take some type of responsibility from here, counting the real energetic balance blessings, and seeing, you know, what we have to kind of fix. Because obviously if like someone wants to do their esoteric war and they want to live out their grudge, they don't know God's mechanics, they will be met with God's mechanics on the most mature level. Like that's the thing, no one's exempt. Like we're all transforming, and we're not necessarily realizing that it's God's mechanics already, you know? We're not realizing that. There's a weird like 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D ego type of shit. And you know, God is like beyond like all the dimensions, beyond 12, beyond 144, beyond 1044. And maybe you could say 1044 is the highest dimension, because it has like it has its own like plating and planing of just 4 digits, of just like how 4 is a signifier of something that materializes something, you know? So you could say there's 1044 dimensions for one gross example. So within that, there's shit beyond like the 12th dimension, right? So it's like, it's up to us to just, you know, if you tasted it, great. If you didn't, we're in a unique time. There's still hope, you know? There's still hope. So there's still hope for us. That's what we gotta focus on. We gotta focus on that there's still hope. Because if we don't focus on the hope, then we're entertaining a different, lower emotional spirit. And that lower emotional spirit, it's the antithesis of hope. It's the antithesis of the principles of constructivism. And that's just the spiritual play of 3D, you know? But if we're not focusing on the hope, you're letting some esoteric energy of doubt get in you. And you're kind of like with that doubt. And how you got with that doubt, that was because somewhere along the line within the last 6,000 years, you could have resonated with that, you know? Because we're concluding a dark age, perhaps, case by case. Disclaimers in effect. Disclaimers in effect. we're concluding a dark age. So within concluding a dark age, shit will happen. Quote unquote macro negative shit, end quote. Quote unquote macro positive shit, end quote. And quote unquote maybe underneath unknown macro balance shit, end quote. And 3D Earth, it will entertain collective negativity and collective positivity, but it's up to us to see how we could. It's like what we're making of it. And like that one could have hit like in the 60s, what we make of it, because I remember saying that when I was like 12, somehow 50 years ago. Shout out to Studio. And shout out to LaFuck, man. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to all, like, I love all y'all. Like, I love everybody, dude. And if you want to hate on my love for everybody because of my skin color, there's some irony there, because it's up to us if we want to judge someone on their shit or not. It doesn't even matter what race we are. We shouldn't judge any race, but if it's in the genetics, I have to understand that though. But like, we can lean toward the solutions. That's what I'm saying, for real. Like, for real. So if we're not with hope, if we're not with the hope energy, what's taking us away from our belief to realize that there is evident hope energetically in the universe, despite all of the quote unquote despair that could be happening, end quote. Because even like there is like an energy of hope, right? Something is like, it seems like something in the universe, no matter how much we want to hate on the universe, there's something in the universe that's actually also helping us, you know what I'm saying? There's something in the universe, literally though, like there's something that's helping us. And for some reason, how we don't want to resonate with that, that's the thing that boggles me, dude. Thank you, guys.